welcome back. In this segment of the program, we have Lagos State in focus, and we have joining us for that discussion Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Lagos State, Mr. Gbenga Omotoso. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you here. That's our periodic engagement with Lagos State on what is actually happening within this state. It's our pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so last month when the total ban on Okada was announced, everybody envisaged that it will actually be total in about 6 local government areas of Lagos. And then as an addendum to that, Okada ban squad, we heard, was inaugurated to ensure that enforcement is also total. Could you give us an update on that before we ask some other questions regarding Okada ban?
Well, thank you so much. To be brief about the update, I think we're so far so good. In terms of the numbers, we have had about 4,850 motorcycles impounded since that ban was announced by Mr. Governor, Mr. Biden. In those local government areas. But there is a mistake that we are making that the ban is just about those 6 local government areas. So the law, the also back it was 2012 that prohibits running of Okada on major highways, major roads, and on other bridges, consider light and being followed better. So in those 6 local governments, we do not want to see Okada, but they must not be visible, they must not be bad, they must not be seen in any way. But in all the other local governments, you must not ride Okada on highways, you must not ride Okada on major roads, you must not ride Okada on bridges. So like I said, there are challenges. Some people who are spreaded to police the Okada people, they have been trying to collaborate with them. That's just a few people. But all in all, the police have tried their best. Other law enforcement agencies have collaborated with the state government so well that we have been able to achieve the results that we are seeing. Then the resistance has shown one thing, which is very important for the Russians to note, that the guys who are doing this business, they can be very violent. And in fact, because of the violence, part of the reason why the government decided to move against that mode of transportation, apart from the fact that it's not in our record as the kind of a mode of transportation that we need for the greater Lagos. The violence perpetrated by this particular group of people, we have seen people went out there to enforce the ban being attacked by these people with dangerous weapons. People have been taken to hospital. But the good thing about this is that doctors are now happy. They don't get too many emergency cases coming from Okada. Even the police are happy. People who use Okada as get away from branches, they are now fewer than they used to be. So in summary, so far so good. But we have been work for the residents. The enforcement will have been total if our people decide not to patronize Okada. If our people decide to say that it's better to have their lives and lives in place instead of just wasting your blood on Okada in an Okada accident. So people who still patronize them, we have a work for them. They should stop patronizing them. If there are no passengers, there will be no riders. So far so good.
Okay, so far so good. Can you actually help us put a figure to the level of compliance so far? You said about 4,800 motorcycles have been impounded so far. But regarding the review or maybe a kind of evaluation of what the success rate has been, can you put a figure to?
I think it's about 90%.
90?
Those local governments, yes, 90%. Because the guys who ride Okada, they keep on devising new ways of running the business. But the government keeps on providing alternatives and keeps on tackling the enforcement. The first mile and last mile buses, as I was coming, I saw them.
Yes, I was coming to that. Yes.
running, in Ikeja and all that. So if you go and ride Okada in Ikeja, you'll be committing a crime, and then the law will move against you. So far, I think the rate of compliance is very high. We are very comfortable with it. And we feel that with the cooperation of the Georgians, that if they own the ban and see why the government feels that this ban has been raised and enforced, and it's going to be better than that, what we are aiming at is 100%.
Okay.
All right, so when you talk about Ikeja, sorry, so I need to clarify this, and we look at a place like Ogba, Axis, is this ban supposed to extend to that area?
Is this local government? If Ogba is part of Ikeja, why not? It's there. And like I said, everywhere in Lagos where you have a major highway, where you have a major road, where you have a bridge, they are not supposed to be visible in all the places.
Then there's a problem in that side. Because to see them, I think the first 2 days, there was a kind of fear. Everyone kind of disappeared. But towards the end of that week, maybe because the enforcement wasn't too intense, they are back there and it's like business as usual.
You know that?
Yes.
I'll check now.
Even on Agidi Road here, sir, over the weekend, I saw a couple of them flying the road, and I was asking myself, this is the seat of government, this is Ikeja. I was wondering where the police were for them to actually do their business as if nothing has happened.
Now, I have seen around Agidi, around the Allen Avenue, members of the Lagos State Task Force dealing with these Okada people who are trying to go into Arunre and some inner places. These people call us, they have numbers for when they see this kind of thing. And then immediately the tax force people will go there and dislodge them. But like I said, why would people patronize them? People are not patronizing them.
Maybe people patronize them because we do not have, from my own estimation, we do not have enough number of last mile buses around. I mean, when there's a scarcity, the situation in Lagos State, where people leave work 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and they spend 1 hour at bus stop, they probably will jump at any opportunity to get home. At the last mile, the government effort to provide more. How far with the government promise?
We are 500. And they are being pushed into the system gradually. And then we also have the large rights, don't forget, 1,000 of them, which are being fitted with security gadgets and then being pushed into the system. But there's one question that, one statement that I usually make, when people say that they have to patronize Okada because there is nothing else to do. Apart from the alternative that the government is providing, was Shiki not feeding on something before the arrival of the corn? Why must people now feel that they cannot do without Okada because Okada takes them into their bedroom?
In front of their gates.
That's what I'm saying, into their bedroom. So I feel that it's a misconception of the whole thing. If they feel that government is going to provide an alternative that will put them into their bedroom.
One question I must actually ask you before we leave this issue is the 4,800 motorbikes that were impounded. What happened to them?
As I speak with you, they are being crushed. We made a public show of it recently, and I'm going to recommend you that it has to continue. They are being crushed.
There's an allegation that there are some saboteurs, people in government and the security, who are, instead of crushing, as you have just said, they crush maybe 20 and sell out 200. That are taken out of the state, some are even taken to neighboring states.
There will always be allegations. There will always be allegations, there will always be misconceptions, there will always be all manner of imaginary postulations by people. So I do not feel that people are saying that are correct. I have seen them in action, the tax force people, and I have seen them take Okada into their yard, and I have seen them crush Okada right, before the media. It's just that we cannot be calling the media every day to come and see. And if I'm talking about 4,850, that's quite a Huge. Considerable.
Yeah, okay, as a follow-up to this issue of Okada ban, which you said there's a particular set of people who exhibit a lot of violence, which was what precipitated the ban, part of the reason for the ban. Now, Lagos State has been awarded, or maybe the governor described the state as a safe haven for refugees, and that Lagos State welcomes people from all over
That
the
is
country.
the refugee-friendly state.
Refugee-friendly state. Now, if you look at that, that means anybody can come and be resident in Lagos. Now, how is the state managing these issues, aside the Okada ban? Issues of ethnicity, religion, tribalism, you know, all these things come into play when you say we are a refugee-friendly state.
Yeah, like I usually say, Lagos is a victim of its own success. If you go around
Small
Nigeria
but
now,
mighty.
yeah, hardly can you find any place in Nigeria where you do not have one serious crime or the other. In Lagos, the government is not sleeping so that the Nigerians can sleep with their two eyes closed. In Lagos, government is pumping in a lot of money into security so that people can have a peace of mind, so that people can have investments in Lagos. That is why Lagos is the biggest attractor of investments in Nigeria, foreign direct investments. But the constitution does not permit us to stop people from coming into Lagos. So everybody comes into Lagos. So what Lagos has been able to do is to increase its surveillance. Lagos has been able to strengthen neighborhood watch for them to be able to supply information to the security agencies. Lagos have been able to forge a kind of collaboration between it and then security agencies. Lagos has been able to cooperate with the police to strengthen their equipment, to strengthen their personnel, to strengthen their psyche, to let them know that we are with them in their battle to ensure that Lagos is secure. So if we say Lagos is refugee friendly, it doesn't mean that anybody can just jump into Lagos and do whatever he likes. That is why Lagos has said anybody who is coming to Lagos to spend more than 3 months, you come and take class card. If you take class card, it's going to enable us to be able to know that you are in Lagos, so then be able to provide for you in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of security. So anybody who doesn't want to take class Okada, I mean, thinks that you can come into Lagos and the next thing to do is to ride Okada or to do some other things that become a fancy the person is getting it wrong. We have places for people who are the new refugees, you know, for them to be able to be catered for them to be able to be allowed to pick up the pieces of their lives. And, you know, Lagos is a place where anybody, son of nobody, can come and become somebody that everybody is talking about. So we also put that one there as a place where your good can come through, where everybody can come and become whatever he or she wants to become. So that does not mean that Lagos is no man's land, so anybody who can come in. Genuine refugees are
Yes, I know that we have a figure to it.
Yeah.
1,656 registered refugees and 611 asylum seekers from 34 countries.
That's outside the internally displaced
Internally
people
displaced
from other states of this country. The governor said it's the responsibility to offer protection to refugees it's a question of human rights and not a privilege. Now, but the question is, I remember during the tenure of the former governor of Babatunde Raji Fashola, he said Lagos has a kind of inelastic size, and then the facilities and all that cannot be extended or stretched beyond a particular point. Now, when you continue to take the refugees and the IDPs, how well are you actually aligning this with the structures and the facilities in place? Do you not think the facilities will be overstretched to the point that it will become the crisis?
That is why every day Lagos is thinking ahead in terms of education. We are doing more schools every day. In terms of housing, we are doing new housing projects every day. And in terms of safety of their lives and property. We are threatening the security system every day. So if the UN says that you are to be able to be refugee friendly, there's nothing you can do about that, because you also have to carry the burden of humanity. You look at it that what has happened that has made people to become refugees is not of their own making most of the time, and that no matter how tight things are for you, you must be able to find space for people who have found themselves in this kind of situation. It's only civilized for you to do so. It's only normal for you to do so as a member of the human community. So that is what we are doing in Lagos. We are praying for these people, and we do not pray, and we do not wish, and we do not plan for refugee population to continue to increase all over the world, even though we all know what the world is going through now. We know what we are going through in our country. We know what is going on in the Ukraine, Russia war, and so many other conflicts in Africa that people are not even talking about. So if you, in some parts of our country, people can no longer go to their farms, people can no longer go to their trading places, to markets. There are some places you cannot even go to worship centers. So we understand all of this, and we cannot say that because Lagos is being overstressed, and then we want a gate at Baga or a gate against people. No.
All right, there's this disturbing rating I saw that Lagos has the highest number of food insecure people among the 21 states and FCT, and this analysis was done by the federal government. Now, what are the policies or plans of this administration to tackle this challenge in Lagos?
Well, we all see all manner of figures, all manner of postulations and speculations about Lagos having food insecurity and all of that. I think it's not true. Lagos is building the biggest rice mill in Africa, which is going to be commissioned in a matter of a week now, as I speak with you. People are rushing to supply us every party. Lagos has a very solid agri program. Recently, we launched a 5-year agri development program, which so many people have embraced. Lagos has a program under which people get land to go and farm. Lagos has a plan for livestock. You know, the livestock value chain, how to improve it. You bring cattle to Lagos, you just don't be cattle onto the market like that. There is a place that you have to take them to, where when they are kept for some time, they become bigger than they are, they can breed better than they are. So there is a solid agricultural plan that will show and ensure that Lagos does not fall into any food crisis, no matter the speculation of anybody that is planning. There's a very solid plan concerning land program in terms of research about what we are good at. All the agricultural products of Nigeria, Lagos constitutes over 50% of them. So for us in Lagos, so long as the economy is doing well, there can be no problem about food security, because already the Ministry of Agriculture has a very well thought out program, a 5-year program that was launched, and everybody is embracing. So in terms of livestock, in terms of other areas of agri, there are plans on how to improve.
Okay, I recall that just a couple of days ago, Lagos State hosted the Southwestern State, that is 3 states, an agricultural workshop. Well, actually fun, because I see Lagos with the Lagos that has the most limited land space when it comes to agri. Why was Lagos chosen as the host? And then what was the focus of the workshop?
Well, any place can host any talk at any time. But Lagos, when we talk about agri, it's not just about tilling the land. Lagos is the biggest supplier of fish in around us. It's even said that this particular kind of fish they call tuna that Lagos asked the highest number of kidnappings all around us. Recently, as recent as last week, Mr. Governor went to open a market for built by our senators in effect on Thursday. So if you get to Epe and Badagry and some other places in Lagos, you see that Lagos is very strong in fishing. And most of these fishermen, they don't even have people to buy their food. So what Lagos is doing for them is to get them off takers so that they can go and do their job, and then these guys will just work and buy everything off them so that they can have more money for their sweat. So if you are talking about that, it's not just all about
land,
land. So Lagos is doing a lot. We are building a very big, conglomerate of fishermen, fishing companies who are going to be coming to a particular space around the to operate under a program that we are working on, and then they are already doing the preliminary work. By the time we've been announced, by the time we begin to run it, everybody will see that Lagos is a giant to reckon with in history.
All right, so that's one part of the topic. We have to talk about infrastructures. That should be one side of what is happening in Lagos. So let's talk about the infrastructural scorecard for this administration, because it's also on record that Lagos has accounted for over 71% of the nation's $1.5 billion foreign direct investment in this first quarter of 2022. So the huge part of it is coming from only Lagos State. So let's look at the scorecard for the infrastructure development in Lagos State.
If we are talking about infrastructural development in Lagos State, we can discuss that from now to tomorrow, because all of the things that the administration of Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu has done in education, in transportation, in agric that we have just spoken of, and in so many other aspects. In housing, there are thousands of housing units that have been built. Just on Wednesday, commissioned one around Agege, people who are displaced by the Pennsylvania Bridge construction. About 5 years ago, they were giving back their homes. They are staying in that place for over 30 years, and they felt that the government was lying. The government was not going to fulfill its promise. The government said it was going to restore them to their homes. So the clocks were built, and then they were restored to their homes on Wednesday last week. So free of charge. The government did not collect money from them. So they found that incredible. Then you look at what we are doing in transportation, junction improvement program, Alenado, Maryland, Becky, roundabout 1 and 2, and Ikotin. And you see that the traffic situation that we talked about is getting better. You see what we are doing in COVID-19 has taught us how to ramp up all of the facilities we have in there. Our hospitals on Harvey Road, Lagos Island, Isolo, they are being rehabilitated, and you get there now, the services are better, and many of them are staffing. And then see all of the things that we have done in modern child hospitals, in Badagry, in Epe, so many of these hospitals in Lagos that people are now seeing that in Lagos, infant mortality has collapsed. Unlike before, when it was not, people can be confident of going to hospital and having a child back, and then be sure that all will be well. No, now when you get mother and child hospitals in Badagry, in Kiosa, in Bedford, and all these places, you see that things are fine. Or the housing projects that we have delivered, and the ones that we are going to deliver, housing projects Lagos Island, in Igbogo, in Epe, in Badagry, and so many other places like that. So if you look at all the roads that we are going to, the one that Lagos Lekki Expressway, and all those even Lagos Badagry Expressway that people have been talking about, and so many other ones that the government has been able to deliver, and the one is going to deliver in terms of the bigger infrastructure of the future, the rail infrastructure, the through line and the rail back. So if you want to talk about the infrastructural development in Lagos, you can stay here tomorrow and we need to talk about it, and we won't have the time to do so.
I'm really happy about that resettlement for people displaced at Agege.
Yes.
That's a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
They were in July now. In the next 10 months or thereabouts, Governor Babajide will be winding up. Will actually be finishing his first term. Now, are there still things you have not accomplished as part of your plan for the first time? That's if he comes back next term.
There are so many things that we are planning to do that we are yet to do and that we are going to do. Things that we made Lagosians happy. Like I have said, we will want to see first quarter of next year that Lagosians are using the Red Line and the Green Line rail projects. That will take some pressure off the roads. And then we would like to see, for example, Massey Street Children's Hospital that is going to be the biggest in Africa, the biggest pediatric hospital in Africa that people are using. We would like to see that the mental health center in Ketu Commission, we would like to see so many housing projects that we have embarked on, that they are Ogonosa and the rest of them, that they are commissioned. We would like to see all the roads in Ikorodu, Obasekumade Road, Okolatini Road, Dogo Road, Ishede Road, Phase 2. We want to see all of them delivered.
In other words, the governor has so much
yeah.
in terms
So
of
many more
giving
projects.
his account of stewardship when he's talking, when he's going, I mean, for his campaign. That's
Yes.
come October.
Yes.
He has a lot to tell Lagosians
Yes,
about
and
what
the
has happened.
Lagosians have been able to see the kind of things that Mr. Babajide can do in education. Look at the brand new school in Elemoro. Look at the one we opened last Wednesday in Agege, the first of its kind in Nigeria. You know, schools built with sporting facilities, with laboratories, with digital facilities, modern schools.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure having you.
Just
on our
as he
program
said,
today.
we will need 2 hours to discuss the infrastructural development.
There's so much to talk about Lagos State and also to keep people abreast of what this administration is actually doing and has accomplished. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Wish you the best as we go move on. All right, that's our program this morning. We want to thank you for being a part of it. We'll be back on Monday for another edition of the program. My name is Jumoke Michael. See you then.
And mine is Banji Busari. I say Barka de Salah in advance to all Muslims across the globe. Bye-bye.